Hey everyone, have you heard about this kind of nonsense? Oh my God. I just don't know how far these social justice warriors, these leftists, these collectivists are going to go as far as pushing not just the Canadian people, but basically most of us common sense, reasonable people in all of Western society. It seems like they have some kind of, I don't know, suicide pact, death wish. I just have no idea where they're trying to go with this kind of bullshit. I mean, if they would only try to, think about, I think about the history of like all these special interest groups or minority groups or people that were just looking for their fundamental rights and freedoms. And every time they put forth, that's what they were seeking. I seen it happen in transition fairly seamlessly. So whether it's, gay rights or women's rights or, minority rights as far as, people of different colors or race or backgrounds or religious rights, those things seem to happen, at least most of them, as far as I know anyways, as long as I've been alive, like I say, fairly seamlessly. And I would expect, because they have happened, right? They weren't pushed back against and denied, so they've all come to fruition. You would think that these people would be happy, and anyone that's coming up subsequent would be like, well, if we just want to stand up and fight for our fundamental rights and freedoms, well, since we have the historical precedent that the Canadian people seem to be on board with it and accepting, then why the animosity? Why the hatred? Why such division along these, like I say, ideological lines that they seem almost built and ground upon the very concept of divide and conquer? Which is why I'm concerned, which is why people like Jordan Peterson is concerned, which is why Dave Rubin, Stefan Molyneux, I'm not going to name drop everybody, but yeah, a lot of us out here, us reasonable people, we're very much concerned as a consequence of this stuff. This doesn't even make any sense or reason whatsoever. But yet, this is the kind of narrative that's being espoused and promoted by our established media, and especially that Crown Corporation, CBC, that billion-dollar entity that we're all forced to pay for, whether you want to or not. Which basically tells you that they're kind of all about authoritarianism and using that as a means to an end, and using political propaganda as a cover to impose that kind of ideology on the rest of us. Just more evidence, folks. Headline, CBC News, Manitoba. Hate messages show up on University of Manitoba campus. Many students say they feel unsafe due to threatening nature of messages, union says. Like I say, this CBC News posted November 2nd, 2018. Doesn't even have an actual contributor name to it. It's just the Manitoba file. But, this hate message, right? This message that makes people feel unsafe and has a threatening nature to it. Yeah, you want to know what it is? That's what it is. A very bland sheet of white paper with the words, "It's okay to be white." Not, "It's terrible to be black," or "It's superior to be white," or "We should only be white," or "White's all that matters, reject all other colors," or races or creed. Now that would be hating. That would be reciting or inciting, I guess, hatred. Although, once again, I'm still not a fan of the whole pretense of hate laws or hate speech. Because, once again, if it's speech, it's just words. Words, I don't know how you can try to make words into violence. That's not violence. Words are words. Physical acts, that's violence. But here, they're basically trying to correlate something as bland and innocuous, and I don't even consider it controversial. I'm not even going to use the word controversial. What's controversial about saying it's okay to be white? Especially when you consider the onslaught of media personalities, propagandists, and those who propagate the entire base of academia, it seems, with the exception of maybe a very small few, a very tiny minority. It seems that the mob, the majority, are all about suppressing those of us who are now seemingly in the minority for just daring to say that, hey, it's okay to be white. Wow, folks. Think about what, like I say, this is beyond just simple, political rhetoric. This stuff can lead to unleashing of a lot of pent-up anger and frustration that's being stoked by these political propagandists. Like I say, these people in the media, that just like Trump says, and once again, listen, I'm not a big fan of everything that Trump says, but listen, when he says that the media is the enemy of the people, well, that's the thing. Let me discern the difference between how Trump would say it and how I would say it. It's like, no, the media is the enemy to people that actually care about individual rights and freedoms. Now, if you're a collectivist, if you're a big government lover, if you're an authoritarian or a control freak, no, actually, the media is completely on board and on your side. But like I said, and like Trump has suggested and alluded to, if you're someone that stands up for your individual rights and freedoms, and even if you are white, Lord forbid, you should have the right to say, hey, it's okay to be white. And anyone that would suggest that saying that it's okay to be white is hate speech or soliciting violence or threatening in any way or racist in any way, you got to know that these people are playing politics and they are the true enemies or opponents to liberty. And actually, minority rights. Because, hey, if we're in the minority, well, apparently they're now rejecting minority rights because apparently they seem to be so enamored with that power that's been handed to them by all those white people. Because, hey, if white patriarchies have all this power, how did these people gain so many positions of power and influence? Huh? Must have been the white people gave them. So the white people gave them this power, and what they use? And what they do when they gain that power? Well, they turned it back against them and said, no, I'm not thankful for you giving me this power. I'm actually going to use it against you. And you know what? That's a faceless person such as me or anyone else that, hey, I didn't have nothing to do with any of this shit. I'm not a central planner. I never played any active role in government. I never tried to control, dictate, or micromanage the social and economic lives of people. But because my skin's white, now I'm in this class of, hey, if I dare to say anything in defense of me or my fellow white people, I'm seen as racist somehow. Wow, folks, crazy stuff. A University of Manitoba student says hateful messages posted on campus and sent to at least one fax machine add an element of fear to being on school grounds. I think it's sickening, said Charlene Hallett. But on the other side, too, I want to roll my eyes and say, you know what? No, you don't get to try to intimidate us this way. Intimidate by saying it's okay to be white. And like, even the fonts they use is not even a threatening font. I mean, come on, look at the fonts that they could have used. It's just once again, a bland font. I actually think the people that put out these posters, they did a great job in doing so for the sheer fact that it's going to put on public display who's truly intolerant, outrageous, and racist. And authoritarian, I might add. Sheets of paper with the phrase, it's okay to be white, were taped to walls around the U of M campus this week. Faxes with the same phrase were sent to offices around the campus, including the Women's and Gender Study program. Hallett is Cree Métis and is in her 4th year of studies in the Family Social Science program. She says, while incidents like this won't change her willingness to speak her mind during class discussions about issues like race, class, and sexuality, it makes her wonder if she's going to be targeted. I mean, come on. If there was someone that was going to target you, I mean, think about this even just as a fundamental understanding of reality. If someone had such hatred and vitriol towards this woman, why would they just use a piece of paper? Like, these evil people that you speak about, this lady, this Hallett, these people that you're speaking of, they would have already done harm to you. Have you suffered any harm physically as a consequence of the people that are in your university? Because if you haven't, well, what are they waiting for? Why would they waste their time making a stupid piece of paper that says it's okay to be white when they could just use violence against you? If they truly hated you and want to use violence or intimidation against you, I'll just say, that's not a very effective way of doing so. I mean, something as simple as it's okay to be white. Why would you even be concerned with these people? I mean, anyways, no matter how you look, like I say, I always try to come at these things from so many different perspectives to help people start to think critically about these issues because I understand how important it is. I don't know what their intentions are in class. I don't know if I'm in harm's way. The University of Manitoba is denouncing the posters, which the school president says are part of a coordinated international effort by neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups, who the hell is the head of the University of Manitoba that would suggest that simply saying it's okay to be white is some conspiracy of a coordinated international effort by neo-Nazis and white supremacist groups? Holy fuck! You're basically admitting that apparently these coordinated international neo-Nazi groups are the most ineffective fucking bunch of people you've ever heard of in your entire life. That's nothing Hitler-esque, where you think Hitler, hey, yeah, never mind that you're creating Hitler Youth or building up an army or a military and start invading foreign countries. No, that's just going around putting signs that says it's okay to be German. Oh, really, though? Like I say, well, let's read on. Let's see what other kind of ridiculousness we get from this particular article, hit piece, more or less. The university unequivocally condemns this and any other racist actions, David Bernard wrote in a statement sent to the media on Friday. David Bernard, you are an instigator, a promoter, and a co-conspirator in these efforts to try to divide the population into these identity politics subclasses, which means you're contributing to the division and hatred that you pretend that you espouse. You are one pathetic human being. And I'm going to tell you that. I don't care what color you are. I don't care your background. I don't care your history, your heritage. You're one pathetic piece of shit weasel if you're willing to keep promoting and stoking these kind of flames of division. Be careful, because that fire can get really hot at some point in time and can get out of control. And you might find yourself feeling that heat. There is no tolerance for hate and discrimination, as I made clear yesterday in my remarks at the vigil in honor of the shooting victims in Pittsburgh. We share a sense of revulsion and need to act because of what we see happening around us. The treatment of refugees, the tone of anger and hatred in political discourse, the installation of corrupt regimes, a distressing number of hate crimes, terrorist attacks. Oh, really? Are you living in the fucking same country I am? What's this guy's name again? David? Where's all these? Can you at least allude to? I don't see CBC posting any reference or sources to all these hate crimes or this massive amount of white violence imposed on the minorities or the LGBT community. Please give us some fucking evidence. It'd be reality over rhetoric. That's what I always say. Reality over rhetoric. A university must be focused on a search for wisdom and scholarship, which is underpinned by a shared perspective that working together is the best way to achieve that, he said. Working together? Really? You think what you're putting here, that's about working together? David, is that what you believe? Because I'll tell you, most of your white students and even a lot of the people that from some of these special interests or minority groups, I guarantee they're going to side with people like myself and say, hey, I think you're contributing to more of this racial division, hatred, and racism, David. Anyways, I'll post a link to this ridiculous bullshit article in the description of the video below. I just can't believe how crazy things are and how much they're ramping up the rhetoric, folks. Like I say, look at this stuff. I'm not making this up. This isn't fake news. Oh, now this is bullshit. That's not real news. That is propaganda. But they try to suggest people like me or anyone else that tries to deal with these articles and this ridiculous. Oh, we're the outliers. We're the ones that are outrageous. We're ridiculous. We're whatever, racist, homophobe. Although I haven't had very many people say that to me. Not to me personally. Very, very, very few, because yeah, just like Jordan Peterson and people like Steph Molyneux, I mind my P's and Q's. I stay on point. I make sure I give nobody no fodder to use against me. And the reason why that is because I'm just me. I don't have to pretend to be anyone else. That's the way I am. It's the way I've always been. I'm neither racist, collectivist, homophobe. That's the thing. That's why I do what I do. That's actually where I feel like I have this massive shield. It's like impenetrable. Why? Because I have my whole history. I have my whole life to back up who I am and what I stand for. So they can throw whatever they want at me, which is why I feel like I'm just going to step it up even more. Because what are you going to throw at me? I've got, like I said, I got my whole history. I've got everyone that's ever known me tell you, no, bet it's nothing of the sorts if you try to paint me as anything or some of these negative connotations that the media has used against a lot of their political opponents. So yeah, you try to take out as many of these people that you deem as your political or ideological opponents you want. And you know what? At the end of the day, you know who you're going to end up have to confront at some point in time? Because a lot of them probably might be easy pickings. I'm going to be there waiting for you. Well, eventually we're going to have to go toe to toe intellectually. We're going to have the real battle of ideas. And once again, I have my whole history to back me up. What do you got? This kind of nonsense? Let's see what we can pull it. And yeah, I archive it all. Yeah, it's all saved. Yeah, you're not going to escape it. I'll hold you to account for everything that you've ever put out. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.